Alright, shalom, shalom. I want to say Kohalayim La, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha, Kodash, Brakate Yahweh, Brakate Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well to this day. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. And the title of this video is Faith is a Gift, You Must Cherish It. Okay, so I will be going over what faith is and ultimately how important faith is to this walk of ours, okay, to this truth. So I'm going to start in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You see that? So who's going to be having this hope and this belief for the things not seen here today? That's the elect, okay? The elect of the nation of Israel, all right? Because ultimately, we haven't seen Yahweh Shai, right? We don't got the records going back to our ancestry proving that we're Israelites, right? We got the scripts to help us identify these things, but ultimately, it's all faith, okay? This is a faith-based thing. So I could precept that really quick in the book of John, chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 24. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahweh Shai came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, We have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I would not believe. You see that? So Thomas had the spirit that a lot of modern day Jakes have, right? They need proof, right? They got to see in order to believe. Verse 26. And after 8 days, again with the disciples were within, and Thomas with them, then came Yahweh Shai, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, Peace be unto you, right? He said, Shalom, right? Yahweh Shai appeared. Verse 27. Then saith he to Thomas, Reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. Verse 28. And Thomas answered and said unto him, My Lord and my power. Yahweh Shai saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet have believed. You see that? So that's powerful. Yahweh Shai said, Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. And that's who? That's us. That's the elect, okay? I don't want to Lord's will we be part of that number, but that's us modern day today, because we haven't seen Yahweh Shai, right? That's the evidence of things not seen, because ultimately faith is a gift, right? The Most High has to grant you faith, okay? You have to be a part of the elect in order to have faith in 100% truth. And I'm gonna grab that in Ephesians really quick. So this is the book of Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. For by grace are we saved through faith, and that not of ourselves, it is the gift of the Most High. You see that? We have to be gifted, which is why we can't boast, right? Which is why we got to be extremely grateful. We can't be proud, because ultimately it's not of us. It's of the Most High. The Most High grant us this knowledge and this wisdom. And I could precept that in the book of John chapter 6. Let's grab that. So this is the book of John chapter 6 and verse 44. No man can come to me except the Father, and this is in red letters, so this is Yahweh Shai speaking. No man can come to me except the Father which have sent me, draw him, and I will raise him up at that last day. You see that? So the Most High grant us this faith, right? And then ultimately he drew us into this 100% truth, which is Yahweh Shai in the doctrine. And it says, I will raise him up at the last day. And we are living in the latter days today. So that's why you see the prophets out on the highways and the byways and all the men of the Lord learning who they are, coming back to this truth and walking in the ways of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. So now that we got to understand on that, let's grab an example of what faith can do, how powerful faith is. So I'm going to jump to the book of Daniel chapter 3. So the context of this chapter is Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had made a golden image, and he wanted his whole kingdom to worship it. So there was 3 men called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego who chose not to serve this golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had set up, right? Because their power was Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Alright, so I'm going to start at verse 14. I'm going to start at verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king, right? So Nebuchadnezzar was angry that they rejected in serving his idol, right? That golden image that he set up, okay? Verse 14, Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, Salakia if I pronounce that wrong, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. So that was a signal that Nebuchadnezzar gave to the people to know the time and when to worship. Okay, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? So Nebuchadnezzar, like, if you don't worship the image at the time that I want you to worship this golden image, then I'm going to throw you into a fiery pit. Verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. You see that? So these men had faith in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai that fiery furnace would not hurt them, right? They had faith that he would deliver them out of this situation, this dire situation. Verse 18, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So these men was like, nah, it's a dub. We're not worshiping no that golden image that you set up. Verse 19, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. You see that? So he even made the furnace 7 times hotter than it already was. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. And these men were bound in their coats, their housing, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Right? So he threw these men inside the furnace full of fire. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the fire in the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Right? So you see that? So King Nebuchadnezzar just lost his mighty men to the furnace. Right? It caught them when they was heating it up. Verse 23, and these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astounded, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire. They have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the son of the Most High. Right? So Yahweh Shai visited them because they had faith. These men had faith so strong that they believed that their power could deliver them even out of a fiery furnace. Verse 26, then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. Right? So they walked out of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors being gathered together. So these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire had passed on them. Right? So these men that walked into the fire, they didn't get affected at all. Okay, the fire didn't burn them. So they was like, nah, these guys got it. Their power, their God is the one and true God. Nobody else can do this. There was no other account where something like this has ever went down. Okay, verse 28, then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they may not serve nor worship any power except their own power. These men, right, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, had so much faith that they walked into a fiery furnace, right, full of flames, worshiping the Lord, praising the Lord, right, and Yahweh Shai came down and protected them because of this faith, right, this unwavering faith that they had, right? So that just shows how powerful faith is and how the Lord can deliver you out of any situation. We could finish this on. Therefore I made, verse 29, therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. And that's a powerful example of how faith can get you out of any situation, and how important faith is in order to be delivered, right? Because scriptures say what? Things written in time past are for an example, right? I butchered this, so I'm gonna grab it really quick. This is the book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these examples of men of the Lord being delivered through faith were written so we can learn from these things and understand if that faith justifies us and delivers us, then how much more today? So it comforts us and it gives us hope, because we know men of the Lord with faith are never put to shame. And that's also in the book of Maccabees chapter 2. Let's grab that really quick. So this is the book of Maccabees chapter 2 verse 59. And Ananias, Azarias, and Misael, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocence, was delivered from the mouth of lions, right? That's another good read. Daniel was saved out of the midst of a cage of a lion, right, through his faith. Verse 61, and thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. You see that? Which shows just the power behind faith. So let's grab 1 Peter chapter 1 in the NLT, okay? Because that NLT be hitting sometimes. So this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 6. So be truly glad. There is wonderful joy ahead, even though you have to endure many trials for a little while. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is more precious than mere gold. You see that? So our faith is going to be tested, right? Because you know Jacob's shovel could pop off at any moment, right? Or hell's finna break loose, right? But the scripts letting us know that our faith is even more precious than gold. Let's read on. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Yahawashi, Yahamashiach, is revealed to the whole world. You see that? So scripts saying that our faith is going to bring us praise and glory and honor, right? We're going to have praise and fame in all the lands we were put to shame, right? That glory, we're going to get that glory in the kingdom of heaven. Verse 8. You love him even though you have never seen him. Though you do not see him now, you trust him, and you rejoice with the glorious inexpressible joy. You see that? We were just going over that, right? We have faith in this even though we never seen it, okay? Faith in the things that are not seen. The reward for trusting him will be the salvation of your souls, right? So this, the reward of our faith and trusting in the substance of things not seen, is going to grant us what? Salvation, which just shows how powerful and how important having faith is, okay? Faith in this 100% truth, right? In Yahweh Yahawashi, right? Because another thing you got to realize, that this faith ultimately gives us what? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of what's happening in this world, why things are happening in this world, right? Give us a relationship with the Most High, okay? The only people on this earth to have a relationship with the Most High, to know the Most High, okay? The elect of the nation of Israel, right? And many people want that, right? So let's grab St. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 16. It states, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. You see that? So many people want to know the truth, right? The 100% truth, right? The meaning of life, okay? Whether there's a power, whether there's a God or not. Who is that God? Okay, how does that God look that made the heavens and the earth, made the universe? These things we have in having faith in this 100% truth. These are things that's valuable above all things, right? And another thing that make our faith super valuable is what it allows us to do. Okay, Yahweh Shah say even the smallest amount of faith, we can move mountains. Let's grab that. Staying in the book of Matthew, right? Chapter 17. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 17 verse 20. Yahweh Shai said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, which we know is one of the smallest seeds out of them all, but grow to be the tallest tree of them all, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to a wonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible to you, right? And that's a red letter. So that's Yahweh Shai speaking, okay? He's saying if we have faith, even just as small as a mustard seed, we will have the power to move mountains. So that's powerful. And it says nothing shall be impossible to you. Faith makes the impossible possible with our power, okay? Right? And the ultimate goal of our faith is to what? Inherit the kingdom, right? To be saved out of the oncoming destruction, right? And inherit the kingdom. Here is with his only begotten son, okay? And that's the book of James. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to wrap it up. So this is the book of James chapter 2 in verse 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith? And who is the poor of this world? The Israelites. Alright? And heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him. So having this faith in the Most High and his only begotten son in this 100% truth, we're heirs to the kingdom, right? The kingdom of heaven, which is the ultimate goal. Okay? This faith does what? It protects us. It makes the impossible possible, and ultimately grants us salvation. You see that? So I hope this video was edifying. Shalom.